Hey, JaguarBallManTraining.com. Today's workout was a pretty good one. I did 15 seconds on the road bike for 5 rounds. Okay, 15 seconds. I set the timer for 3 minutes in between my next session. I got off the bike, went outside, grabbed a 55-pound dumbbell, grabbed it by the heads, carried it like this in my hands with my fingers, carrying it about waist high, and I carried it 100 yards on a 10-yard course. 100 yards, came back in. I had about 1 minute, 45 seconds left. So for the time off the bike to out there doing the carry, I had 1 minute 45 actual rest. It was a great workout. I did 5 rounds. And if you think it's easy to get like a 15-second sprint as hard as you can go and then get out, grab a 55-pound dumbbell or whatever, carry it like this, 100 yards. If you think it's easy, give it a shot. So I did 5 rounds of that, and then I finished off. Once I finished the last 100, I came in and set the clock for 30 seconds on the heavy bag, 30 seconds off 5 rounds, as hard as I could go, all out. And it's a fucking beast, and especially when you get done doing all that. And that's why I like to train. I like to train anaerobically, because when you can take the anaerobic and still have some strength with it and conditioning, that's when you're going to get the carryover to a lot of things where you tire out. Grappling, boxing, whatever. And that's another thing. Since the beginning of time, physical culture, physical fitness, the two things that were always included, well, two of the things that are always included, part of a physical fitness routine or a lifestyle, was wrestling and boxing, bare knuckle fighting, whatever. Those two things have been around since the beginning of time. And for some reason, we've moved into the gym and chose the bench press over those types of movements, wrestling, grappling, boxing, hitting the heavy bag, doing things that carry over to those types of exercises. I think more men got to get back to the way it used to be, because you can go back and read stories or whatever. The guys that are trained today, that's what they look at. People look at the guys today compared to yesterday. When the guys yesterday, the guys out that worked, blue-collar work, whatever, they were just tougher, stronger, beat the piss out of you. And if you took those normal men, and took the normal men today, these guys will kick the shit out of them every time. Now, you go to the training aspect, like the old-time boxers or martial artists compared to the MMA guys of today and things like that. Well, there's a difference, okay? Some people will say Rocky Marciano will kick the shit out of so-and-so, Mike Tyson or what. I don't know if you could ever know that. But I do know that, things have changed and times have changed and the ways of training has changed, and scientific and better nutrition and better drugs and better recovery and things like that. But if you compare today, okay, today's men and the average today's men and the average men of 30 years ago or more, these guys will kick the shit out of the men today anytime. So when people say, well, men today, unless they are highly trained, okay, and I'm talking highly trained, because just the average man today would fucking get his ass stomped by the average man 30 years ago. Bottom line, man, we got to get better. We got to get stronger. We got to go back to old school values, old school principles. We got to learn that at some point we got to fucking stand up. Every time you stay quiet about something you don't like, every time you stay quiet about something you know is fucking wrong, remember, your kids or grandkids may have to live in that. And if that's the case, you're the fucking weak one. You were a pussy. You were afraid to offend somebody. Like I said, man, years ago, I've said it before, when you live in back in the day, when you had to live in a small town, a small community, and you were counting on one another, the one thing you couldn't have is somebody in that fucking community or tribe fucking stabbing you in the back. Couldn't do it. You'd have to get rid of those fucking people. So if you got family members and you got friends that are completely on the opposites, okay, and you absolutely agree on nothing politically, remember, they're voting against everything you're voting for. Just like you're voting against them. So it doesn't make sense to me to keep these people in your group, because they are at anything, they're undermining you and what you want, okay? And if you believe in right, okay, and you see what's going on today, You know, and you see the grooming of children and the pushing of sexual changing the kid's gender at a young age. You know, there was a time when people actually protected children, okay? And if the parents didn't protect them, the state would come in and protect them. Somebody would protect them. But now the state is actually doing this. The state is actually letting children get sex changes, okay? So you gotta fucking see what's going on. And that's just one of the things going on today. So if this is what you're for, family or friend, they gotta fucking go, okay? Because they say they're not for it, but if they vote for the people they put in office that vote for the policy to do this, they're fucking evil people. Get rid of them. You gotta fucking stay strong. You gotta stand the fuck up. Stop being a fucking big pussy. Get out there and say so.